Trees. Welcoming back to not our show on this station, but we've had him on at WGME down there at George Mason University, is undefeated professional boxer, SETH Killa Bee Billups.
Hey, what's happening, man? How you doing?
All good, baby. How are you?
I'm cool.
It's been a while, man.
It's been a little bit, but it's good to be back now.
Man. It is, man. We've had you on. Absolutely, man. We've had you on 4 different times, so glad we are able to get you now on our new station here at WER in Arlington. How you liking the area? How you liking the studio? How you liking the setup?
Yeah, it's cool. Easy to get to. Spots
Am I still the man?
Oh, you still the man. Yeah, you know, like you're holding it
down. Always gotta talk about yourself.
All right.
You just leave me hanging all the time.
I'm gonna leave you hanging, but we got another because we got.
Wow. You know what? My mic's off.
See, we got another special guest in here. I want to introduce him. We got DMV rapper Aye-Nyce in the building. What's up, my man?
Yo, how's it going, everybody?
All good, baby. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed.
Yeah. And we got a special treat for you guys that will be airing later on in the show. We're going to play one of Aye-Nyce's tracks, Vibe With Me, later on. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But first, I want to talk about, we're going to talk about you, Seth. You have an upcoming fight.
Yes, sir.
Saturday, May 13th.
May 13th.
At the Masonic Temple.
Norfolk Masonic Temple.
Against Roy Garcia.
Roy Garcia.
Does he have an alias?
Not that I know.
I know. We've had interviews in the past. I know you don't like to watch tape on your opponents. I get it. I know.
I had better than
that was actually.
I've seen him fight.
Right. Yeah, I know. Because we actually watched him fight together. Yeah, December 10th against Eric Arturito Hernandez. Yes, sir. He got that unanimous decision victory over the man.
He put the paws on him. So it was a good win. I saw what I needed to see from it. I remember even seeing it like, I could. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Now,
you know
when you were watching, again, that fight was on December 10th from the ABC Sports Complex in Springfield, Virginia, where we watched that. Were you watching more so Eric or a little bit of Roy? Or you didn't know you were going to fight Roy, like, at that time?
I didn't know I was going to be scheduled to fight Roy at that time, although you kind of keep it in your mind at this point. Because he's in a weight class, he's an available opponent, and I'm always looking for somebody who's available that'll fight me. So, and he's a game fighter. He fought his fight against Eric. Eric won every round,
dominated,
beat him hands down.
I
saw what I needed to see from it.
Yeah.
So from both of it, I was watching as a fan from my man Eric, and I saw what I wanted to see. I loved it. I mean, he put on a heck of a performance.
Right.
And then
you did, man. I know, man. You were right there. I was watching there with you.
Yeah, man. And then as far as Roy Garcia, I kind of saw right away, what his weakness would be for me that I could exploit. So just from right there, I already had it in the back of my mind. So as soon as I hear his name again, it's just a quick replay in my memory and boom. So yeah, I'm very confident for this. He's made for me.
Absolutely. All right. And getting back to you, like as a boxer, we know that you have 8 wins, 0 losses on your resume. 6 knockouts. I try to watch tape of your fights, but every video I can find, most of them, end in the first round. We've documented and talked about this in the past, but you've had quite a layoff, my man.
Quite a layoff.
I know we've talked about this in the past, and it's been on your fight that's coming on May 13th. It'll be about 15 months, since your last fight against was it against Reggie Nash?
Yeah. Was it Reggie Nash or was it Corey?
That's a boxing mentality right there. Where you tend to forget that.
No, because that was my
take a little few blows to the head,
bro.
You're sparring with Eric, man. That's all that sparring. I saw the picture on Instagram. That's the sparring with Eric. I see that.
But nah, man, I'm right. It was Corey McCants was the last guy I fought.
Corey McCants, that's right. That is right.
He was number 8.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I had the.
Now we counting them down now. Okay. 7.
Man, I got it, man. I gotta remember you, man. I ain't taking no shots.
It's all fun and games.
I had the exhibition in December 10th or whatever, so I got to kind of get back in front of the crowd. It wasn't the same thing, obviously, as a match that counts or whatever.
Okay.
But I'm used to having to deal with ring rust and just issues, layoff. It's all part of the game. It's all one journey. You know what I mean? So you kind of at this point, you bundle it all up, and it's all experience. So you can't just say I missed out on something, blah blah blah. every fight that don't happen, whatever, I train. I still
Right.
put in the work every time, and I stay in shape. I'm always ready. There's not a day that go by.
Yeah, we could
I'm
tell
not
that,
ready to
man.
go
I saw,
around.
you know, before the show, you know, you're showing off a little bit, showing off them buys and tries outside.
No buys and
You know,
tries.
trying to, you know
I'd
what
show
I mean,
off
all
too if I
that
had
lean
that.
physique. Oh man, like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
trying to.
It's not what he's making it sound like. Yeah, I'm not just out there flexing.
Have you seen? Did
standing
you see
there.
the flyer? The picture we used, the flyer. You tell me you're not flexing that.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
You
that's
flex
a photo shoot, man. You gotta give him everything for that.
All right, let's get back to this. Hey man, we're all fun and games. I love this guy to death, my man. This is my man right here. I support him. I call him the best boxer I know because he is.
Like the only boxer you know. That's why.
Well, I know.
He knows a few.
Listen, I know Eric. I know Matthew. All right, Terrence Crawford, the champion of the 140-pound division. All right, liked one of our pictures with me and Seth when I put on my Instagram account. All right, so that's got to count for a lot. And as soon as listen to this story. So Terrence Crawford's like the champ at the 140, right, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
So he liked my picture. All of a sudden, I screenshotted it, then I cropped it out, and then I sent it right to Seth. He's like, yo, man, we made it. He texted me out like, yo, man, we made it.
You know, people looking at us. You know
Right,
what I'm saying? People starting to see.
All right. Let's go. Take me back, though, to that December 10th day. Now, you were originally supposed to have a fight on that day, but your opponent had backed out. And you wound up having a paid exhibition at the end, which was after the main event fight. Tori, sure enough, Nelson kept she actually became champion in 4 different weight divisions.
168 pounds that night.
Right. Against Alicia, the Empress Napoleon. Yeah. It was a pretty good fight. What I learned about
best performances.
Right. What I learned about women's boxing is, like, obviously we know that women's boxing isn't as, like, hyped or as publicized as men's, even though men's is kind of like the popularity's gone down from the rise of the UFC.
Sure.
What I learned about women's, or maybe it was just Tori and Alicia in that fight, they brawl. Like, there's no, like, we're going to run around, we're going to do the Floyd Mayweather thing. Even though I have the utmost respect for Floyd Mayweather's game, there's no running from there. And Tori, you know, and Alicia, both of them, I give them both props and credit. Both of them put on valiant efforts. It came down to the judge's decision. But take me back to how frustrating that was for you. And, you know, having your opponent back out, and now you're a year and change away. And, like, imagine if that were to happen again. On your next fight, is that something that's in the back of your mind?
If it happens, you deal with it when it happens. You know, at the time, you're like, dang. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're getting ready for it mentally, physically, weeks out, not just the night before, the day before, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's a process.
I mean, I was pissed off for you. I came out there. I wanted to show my support. Because you saw, like, I took videos of Matthew and Eric doing their thing. I was going crazy. I was like, yo, to Matthew, yo, keep him on the ropes, keep him on the ropes. And then he did the little combination Pac-Man moves. He was being a beast. Like, I wanted to see that with you, man, because I know you got that killer footwork. And what killed me was even that exhibition match you had in. Your opponent wasn't even trying, and you were talking about that like he was just.
Yeah,
he just wanted to get it over with. And
yeah, I mean, he may have felt the same as me.
Right.
Well, I mean, he's getting paid to come out there and spar me, essentially. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's 1 a.m, whatever could have been going on. I mean, we there to do something, you know what I mean? But, you know, I was trying to get him to open up so maybe more things happen.
Right.
And he wasn't really biting on a lot of things. But, you know, so look good, don't get touched, land my shots. You know what I'm saying? Just move on to the next, because, you know, it's nothing like the real thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Quite frankly, that wasn't it.
I hear you. I could tell. I could tell.
Feeling right before the bell rings.
I could tell you weren't into it because he wasn't into it. Yeah. I got that feeling too. So let's talk about this year, 15-month, potentially 15-month layoff that you've had. Now, during that time, obviously, we've had you on the show a few times, and you were talking to us about how you prepare and how you train. But when you're off for that long, and I know boxers have spoken about this in the past, like, for example, Floyd Mayweather, when he retired and then he came back, he didn't miss a beat. You know what I mean? He was off for a long time. But for somebody in your position, who is a professional fighter, who is undefeated with 8 wins, and I'm not taking anything away from that, how do you stay sharp? How do you get better without experiencing ring rust when you're off for that long? Is it possible to get better? And how is it possible to know? Because we know sparring is not the same as actually being in there with the real fighter, and then you have the crowd behind you, and then you have that it actually counts, and then the referees and all that playing factor. How do you cope with all that, and how do you get better as a fighter?
Question. I like that question.
Yeah, man. You know me, man. I want to challenge you, man. I'm telling you, man. You're gonna be 8-1 after today.
8-1. I don't know, man. I think I'm a probably lead. We're gonna see. I'm gonna roll with the punches on this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean dealing with the layoff and all that. I mean, you just gotta stay in the gym. You know what I mean? You gotta stay in the gym. You gotta stay positive, stay focused, and keep on studying your craft and keep on working better. Not just going through the motions. When you're training, you can't be maintenance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Coach always say, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. So the next time you see me, whether it's a year, 2, 3 years, whatever I did before, I'm gonna be
Let's hope not
better.
3.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be that. You know, just talking. You know what I'm saying? But if it's 15,
because I'm coming out there at Norfolk. I'm making I better. Yeah, no, I know this. If something happens, man, I'm gonna do something. Use my airwaves to do something. I'm gonna do it in a very clean manner, in a clean and professional manner. But I'm gonna say something.
You wow. For sure.
No.
But no, man. You know, you just stay focused. You gotta keep training. You gotta keep on sharpening and polishing your tools, and that's really the key. Is getting better. You can't stay the same, or that time is really gonna affect you. You can't be the same guy.
Right.
Time keeps going. You can't stay still. So keep on getting better. Keep facing the challenges. Keep seeing different styles while you're over there, and stay uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Sometimes we travel. Other guys come to us. You don't get too comfortable with the same guys, and even the guys you do know, they're getting better too. One thing about my team I can say, I mean, I posted about this before. You know, my coach, since I've known him, he's had over at least 13 Golden Glove champions. He had 3 world champions. I mean, all of us got good footwork. We all got good talent. You know what I mean? We all have good ability. We just got a pedigree over there. So everybody trains like I do. Like, I'm thinking about I got a specific person in mind who I've trained with. And then as well, I know my teammates is out there. If I take a day off, they got a day on. And if you're not working, they getting better. They're going to make you pay for that. So you guys stay sharp on all sides. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I hear you. I hear you completely, man. And I wish you, all the best of luck.
Oh, yes.
Let's get Aye-Nyce into this conversation, man. Because, I've never had you on the show, and it's a pleasure to have you on first time. Thanks again for agreeing to come on.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I know you guys, how do you know Seth?
I know him through boxing.
You know him through boxing?
Yeah.
Okay. In what manner? Like, did you used to go trains at the gym? Okay.
Yeah.
He trained you, okay.
Sunset. Trained out of the art of the tank, shower.
And I know that Seth attempts to rap, or he has a few tracks on SoundCloud. I said that in a nice way. I like it. You know what I love about your rapping is that you incorporate it like with boxing. Like some of the lyrics you have on, like the bob and weave one I heard with you and Aye-Nyce track that I heard. I forgot which one it was. But you bring a lot of boxing elements. What are your thoughts about him as a rapper? We'll get to you later on, but I want to start with the amateurs and then get to the professional singers. So,
oh my man, he really trying to make it 8-1.
Already accomplished? It's already accomplished. We're already there.
I'm still fighting, man. Defeat is a mindset.
Hey man, you gotta tell Zoran to make a new shirt. Yeah, I'll make a new shirt with that one in there.
With the what?
Yeah, and then the L.
Oh, man,
big L, big L. The font's got to be right. Italics.
I think it's the right font.
Italics. Triple underline that L.
Is that like motivation?
That is motivation, because I know that's supposed to be motivation.
So much detail into that, right?
You know what I mean? You know what? Because he's supposed to be a boxer.
Motivate me. I kind of feel like I need to go just meditate on that question.
I want him to take it out on Roy Garcia on May 15th. That's what I want him to take this as.
That's it.
Yeah, it's imaginary one loss, but in my mind it's real. But we're not going to talk about that. We're losing control right here, Chris. Hey, Chris, you got the humble DJ Chris using Wall. You got a few questions for Seth that you want to ask him about? Maybe how to get yourself in shape, even though the advice you'll probably give you.
I'm in shape. I'm round. That is a shape, okay?
You know what I told him he should do? I told him, Chris, I got an idea for you. This will solve all your problems. Just tattoo
No, by the way, he told me this as I'm hearing this right now with you guys.
No. Yeah, exactly. I said it to him in an indirect way, okay? So, like, I told him, yo, this will solve all your problems. Just tattoo a 6-pack of beer on your stomach. Just tattoo a 6-pack of beer on your stomach. That's all you got to do. That's it. That's your advice. But yeah, Chris.
What you think, Chris?
I don't know. What'd you think? Is that good advice?
That wouldn't be my advice.
Oh, this show is taking so
Say
many
you got a
turns and
six-pack,
twists
but-
and turns and all of this nature. Oh my God. We are
Just go to commercial. Just
But
go to a
Chris,
commercial.
Yeah, go to Seth, man. Ask Seth the question.
About what? You
About
answered it for me.
Ask me about ask him about.
Ask you about
no,
boxing?
Don't ask him about Rocky. Please, never mind.
About
I take that back.
I was
He's
gonna ask about
I was
Rocky.
gonna ask you about Rocky.
I was gonna ask him about
all right,
Rocky.
all right.
I was gonna ask him about Creed.
Serious note.
Yeah.
Last question before we go to break.
He's gonna answer about Creed. Good.
Talk to me about your camp and talk to me about your training with Eric and Matthew and your coach Craig Flatiger and I'm not sure if you still train with Tori Nelson.
Yeah, she's still at the gym.
Okay. How have they helped you and supported you in this time, especially when you've had this long a time off?
The physical part, for sure, because me and Eric, like we just said, we've been punching each other for going on 10 years now, so that's why we would never fight each other for real.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Get it out every week.
Yeah, that is right. That is a good question. Would you ever? Are you guys are in the same weight class?
We're in the same weight class. We're in the
Okay.
same camp, so we're not gonna fight each other. Me and Eric.
Okay. But
You sure? Because me and Becker fight each other.
But what if Eric is fighting for the UBC lightweight title on May 20th? So what if he gets to a point where he's the best in your division? This is all hypothetically speaking, looking down the road.
Eric and I sit down and talk about it.
Okay, so this is why I like. This is why I love having Seth on the show. This is why.
See, if I'm telling you right now, if this was me and Becker, I'm like, yeah, no
See,
doubt, let's go.
This is why I love having.
No questions. I'm not gonna even second think that.
Tell him the joke you always say about me.
What joke? About your height?
Yeah, bend down. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's so short. I have to get down on my knees to fight him at eye level. That's like the type of fight we're gonna have.
and just take that quote on repeat. Every
that
single
on
person.
repeat.
Every single person. It's the same old thing over and over again. And I've told you this in the past. My basketball was one of my first loves.
Yeah, if you're 2 feet tall, you're
I
doing
was
NBA.
balling. The thing is, I was this height. I told you this. I was this height in 6th grade, and my age and height didn't go in similar paths. So my age went up, and I was this
was
tall.
tall in 6th grade,
Yeah,
but-
now I'm not bad. So.
Yeah, he just stopped.
But yeah, all right. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. But Seth's been great. We're gonna keep him on the air, and then we're gonna talk to Aye-Nyce and talk to him about his music, and then we'll probably talk about his track right before we play it. Vibe with me, and we'll have more about that after the break. Listen to the plugs on WERA LP Arlington 96.7 FM. Be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the plugs on WERA LP Arlington 96.7 FM with your favorite host Bex and the one and only the humble DJ Chris, who is still with us, unfortunately.
How is this unfortunately? It's very fortunate that I'm here with you.
I mean, just because you're on the board, that's about it. It's great. And
You
once
know,
again,
I have the power to shut your mic. I can take over this show. This could be my game. It can go 0 to 100 real quick.
oh my God! All right, and then once again. Excuse my little DJ friend over there who every
Little,
day
you're the last one to be talking about Little.
I regret giving a mic every single day, but once again we're joined by two special guests with undefeated pro boxer SETH Killa Bee Billups
What's happening?
and DMV rapper Aye-Nyce. And we want to get Aye-Nyce involved in the conversation, and we're gonna play one of his tracks in just a few minutes after this segment. But I want to talk to you, and I want you to introduce yourself to the world. Talk to me about how you got into music. Into rap.
How did I get into music? It's funny because I feel like it runs in my family.
Mhm.
My dad was a DJ, my uncle was a DJ, both of them, all three of my brothers are DJs. So it's it runs in the family, you know what I'm saying? So coming up, I've always been around it. My mom always used to play reggae and all types of different, music in the house. So I was around it a lot, been around a lot of, coming up, I always hung around a lot of older people.
Mm-hmm.
So they would always rap in front of me or freestyle or whatever the case may be. They'll ask me to do it or I'll beat on the table, you know what I'm saying, do little beats like that. So gradually, as the years progressed, I slowly just started getting more and more into it. So as I started finding artists myself that I gravitate towards too, then I started being around people that was yo, just try it.
Right.
See what happens. So started writing. Eventually I started, getting stockpiles of books and notebooks and So I was reading out to myself, and I'm like, oh man, this is alright. So I'm like, alright, let me see what other people think. So I start rapping for other people.
Okay.
And you're like, damn, man, you pretty good, man. Well, I mean, but what you doing with it? I'm like, you know, nothing, just starting off, like, you know, what you think or whatever. And I always got a good response from it, so I just kept gradually doing that. And I started getting into like battling people up, like high school.
Like freestyling?
Yeah,
Okay.
freestyling, chewing people up left and right. Man. So then, it's like I got into high school. That's when I started dealing with my little, my homeboy, SETH Killa
Mhm.
and my man Mike MarZz here, who's on the song with me, by the way, vibe with me. He's in the building, yo. But,
Introduce yourself.
Yo, it's your boy Mike MarZz, Brooklyn native, been out here in DMV since 05. Known this boy Nice since 05, like my bro, literally. Spent the night at the crib, sleepovers, spaghetti, all that. You know what I mean?
Word, yeah.
Word.
So you know what I'm saying? We all came together. Started doing SETH Killa. Me and Mike was cool with his older brother, and we used to like dance. We used to perform at our high school, do like little Black History Month performances and talent shows. So we was doing that and killing, and then eventually, what happened was one time, a boy came up to me and was like, yo, I got this song, 'cause this is like around the Soulja Boy era.
Right.
So the snap music. So he's like, I got this song.
Doing the Superman.
Yeah, I got this dance I want to do. So he showed me the dance. I was like, it's alright, no, I'll do it. And he had the beat, but we stole the beat. We stole it off the internet. We stole it, and then we dubbed over it. So like we recorded it from like this program, from the website. So it sounded like real nasty. It sounded like real horrible. The audio on it was terrible. And then I had a Pro Tools set up an inbox. So we did the song, came up with the concept, and then that same night we recorded it. There was a party, so we went to a party, and we told the DJ, we bum rushed the party, like, yo, play this. We did the dance and everything, and then the next morning we all got up and we posted our videos to the dance. Took off.
Strut a walk?
Yeah. We started. All the high schoolers started doing it. Marching bands started doing it, and the people from Atlanta who made the beat caught wind of it and emailed.
Oh my God!
Emailed us and said, "We're gonna sue you guys."
Oh.
Yeah, but they loved the response we was getting so much that instead of suing us, they invited us to come out to Atlanta to re-record the song.
Oh wow!
And from there, it just took off.
Look at the power of the internet right there.
Wow, man, that's an incredible story. I thought they were gonna like take you for like copyright and take the rights for it.
They
Right.
could have. They threatened. They showed us lawyers and it was that
Right.
serious, yeah.
No, it is, and it's become viral all over YouTube. You know, I saw that also in your bio, and I've seen the dance everywhere. I didn't know that because I know my friends be dancing to that all the time.
Well,
so
trust me, when I was in middle school, I
that's a
tried
crazy
learning
story.
that dance.
I mean, were you thinking about it like that at the time when you were coming up with it, with the dance, or?
I actually was just playing the back seat to be
Right.
honest. SETH Killa was more so, because that was more so his thing. I wasn't really into the whole dancing thing. I remember I was battling, so I was more into punchlines and lyrics and all that.
Right.
So I came on and you know, was just thinking like, hey, you know, I'm just gonna try something different.
Right.
But when I started seeing the reaction, then I started like getting more serious and getting more into it. And then eventually that's when I was like, you know what, this could really be something.
Okay. Oh, I got you. And you know, obviously you have a pretty great, you know, history. Like you've opened up for popular rappers such as Wale and Wiz Khalifa and Gucci Mane, just to name a few. So talk to me about those experiences and maybe what rappers like in the past kind of like inspired you, maybe growing up.
But I'm from the Caribbean, so growing up, I listened to a lot of reggae artists like Buju, Elephant Man, Vibes
Elephant Man was my guy.
Killer, you know, those caliber of artists. And then with like the hip hop side, like I came up listening to like all the lyrical people like Big Daddy King, Big L, your LL Cool J's, you know, down to your Cassidy's, your 50 Cents, your Lloyd Banks, you know, all the lyrical people. So that's how I basically like. That was basically my influences. So I took that and everybody I listened to, and I kind of like formulated that into my own style.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like when you hear me on, that's why I'm able to like be on a popish song or a snap song,
Right.
and then I can go on a hard hip hop song because I have so many influences, and I'm always listening to new things. That's why before the show we were talking about EDM.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I never limit my taste on music. I listen to everything.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way. So I know that feeling. I love to hear that.
Right. Yeah.
So, let me ask Mike a question real quick, because I'm from New York too. I'm from Yonkers. All right.
Okay,
Yeah, from YO.
I used to
You
live in
know,
the Bronx for a little bit. I lived
Okay.
on right by West Farms Road, man. Right
Okay.
by Southern Boulevard.
I was on Oak and Elm. You know that?
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm
You
from.
find out.
So let me ask you a question,
All right.
fellow New Yorker. Who did you listen to? Who's your influences as you were growing up? Yeah. Because me was Jada. That was me.
See,
'Cause
that's what I was gonna say. Yo, my favorite,
okay.
my favorite Jada line when he was like, next to my next tail is the next tail while I'm out on bail.
Yes.
I was like, yo, he's talking about a gun. Yo, blew my mind. But he was young. So, you know
of
what I
course,
mean?
yeah.
So that's my favorite Jada line. Jada, Biggie, of course, being from Brooklyn.
Of course, yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah, for me it was like Styles P, She
Of-
Blue,
yes,
shit, all
yes,
that was the whole
all.
LOX, D Block,
Facts.
everybody.
Facts, the old Jay-Z when he rap fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss
Hawaiian
that. I miss
shirts,
that guy. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Big
I
L,
miss that guy.
Big Pun, Big Pun. Come on.
See, this is why I love other New Yorkers,
You know
man.
what
It's
I'm
like
saying?
our tastes are like.
It's real. You know what I mean? Like,
Did you ever like feel that like? Did you ever be a part of or take in that East Coast versus West Coast like battles there? You know, Crips and Bloods and things of that nature. You know,
far as
especially
the-
with music and Tupac and Biggie. We know the battles. People always wanted to compare them, like who's always the best. People have that debate. But growing up in New York,
of course, I was gonna be
course,
on
of
Biggie's
course,
side.
of
You know
course.
what I mean?
No
But
question.
West Coast rappers are dope. Period. They're
Yeah,
their own
they
caliber.
are.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
So you can't. I mean, you can compare the two just out of competition's sake. You know what I mean? Because
Gotcha.
it's music. Who want to be the best of the game? But West Coast rappers are dope. East Coast rappers are dope. Everybody have their own. But
okay.
I mean, because some days I want to listen to Pop, and some days I want to listen to Big.
Mhm.
And some days I want to listen to Nipsey Hussle, or some
Right.
days
Something like that.
I'm bumping Jada. So it does it's all in how you feel about it
Mhm.
as a person. But some people are diehard West Coast only, and some people are diehard East Coast.
I had to
only.
ask the question because it's.
I mean, because especially back in the day, that was the hype.
Oh
you
yeah, of
know?
course. Back in the day, I was
Yeah,
like,
it was
Biggie, of
East
course.
Coast, East Coast. Now these days it's just like whatever, you know. Yo, it's popping. It's a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
song, you know.
The reason I said it because some of my dudes in Brooklyn, one of my boys, like
Mhm.
I grew up with it, they was like, oh, they like Pop.
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
Like,
for sure, yeah.
So it's just whoever is how you vibe, but I mean, the masses are gonna do that Western
No,
Coast,
for sure,
East and
yeah.
West Coast stuff.
Right.
So
Okay.
let me ask you guys a question about your song, the good vibe, right? Or what was it?
Vibe with me.
Vibe with me. Sorry about that.
See what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. I have
See
other
what I'm
things.
saying?
I was
It's on
thinking.
your wrist.
I'm dealing with the
I'm sorry about
liability.
that.
I have a liability.
No, because I'll give you. I was listening.
It is on
no,
his wrist.
Let me
He
tell you
did give him a
something.
wristband.
Let me tell you something. Wait, I was literally
I am
listening.
sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
I was literally listening to two other songs right before I came. One was That Vibe and the other one was Good Vibe. So so many amazing vibes right now.
Okay, I feel it.
You know what I mean?
Yo, you know what? It's like the movement right now. Everything you see, everybody
Everything
see
is the vibe.
Vibing and vibe.
So
I feel it.
vibe with me.
Yes.
Talk to me about the song. What's your influences about the song and everything about that?
Oh, so shout out to my man Cutchingham. He produced it. So he sent it to me, and I was like listening to it, and I don't know why, but something was just like vibe with me. But I can't sing, but I can carry a tune. And then I was like, yo, I know the perfect person I can get on this song with me. I wasn't sure he was gonna do it though.
Right.
So, and I'm talking about Mike, by the way. So
Right.
he came pick me up. We went to the mall. I forgot why we went to the mall for.
Oh, nah, man, I had called like, yo, son, I'm about to go to the mall. I ain't doing nothing. I'm about to pay myself for me trying to ride. But yeah, if I got something to show you, I'm
Okay.
like, all right, bet. So,
So we got in the car and I showed him the beat, and I told him like, I was like, yo, I want the hook to just be like, with me, but I didn't know what like I wanted around it. So I was like,
Like the beat, or are you talking about like?
the hook.
Okay.
I just know I told him, I was like, all I know is I just want the song to be like, So
Okay.
I told him that. He was like, all right. So we was listening to it, bumping to it, and then he added it. He got his own little flavor. He added to it. So we went into the studio, man, and recorded it. It came out. And then, you know, took off from there. And then we got the shirts too. Got the merch coming.
Yes, sir.
With it, the
Revival shirts.
the stickers.
We definitely getting those.
T-shirts, sweatshirts. I do tie-dye shirts now too. It's crazy. All my tie-dye shirts is gonna be custom. No one's ever gonna have one you get. So if you get it, it's gonna be one of a kind. I don't do the same pattern. I don't do the same.
We got the patch edition.
Patches.
And that's the big.
We got the performance edition.
We got the show. Got the
put on set.
Got the hoodies. No one has that.
No one has the hoodies yet.
Custom made.
Yeah. So I mean, me personally, I just hopped into music in September. I've always been a fan of music,
right?
But I've never done it. You know what I mean? I've always been around Aye-Nyce and Scholar, and I've been around SETH in the booth. I've been there, but I've never really did anything. So I didn't know how much work it was to do music, to make a song. You know what I'm saying? So, and I came in with more of the marketing part, like the clothing and push. Cause I'm like, yo, look, I'm gonna hop on your team, so I'm gonna hop on the team for real. So we gonna do this. He has the music, he's carrying, he has more experience in that. You know what I mean, with the openings, and been doing it for years, and I'm a little more experienced in the clothing side. So that's how we're meshing, and it's moving as it's moving because we have more than one. Because some people just start their music, put it on Soundcloud, and cross their fingers. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so you gotta push. So we got a team, like we got a boxer on that team. So I wear his shirts, he wears our shirts. It's a network.
Gotcha.
So,
And then we'll wear your shirts too.
Right. So the more you promote, the more you get out. You can't just sit and
right. No, absolutely.
Pop off
Nothing.
So,
that never happened like that.
Definite grind. Definitely. I've been doing this for years. Since 05, I took this serious. Since 2017, and I'm now starting to take over.
Yeah, it's definitely not an overnight thing, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
People think you make one good song and then bam.
Yeah,
like
it can happen to some folks. Some folks get lucky.
Yeah.
Take off overnight.
Right. We've always seen these guys and kids on YouTube who create these regular videos just about their daily lives. And right, and then they get sponsors because of how many views they get, and they were just doing what they do.
Exactly. It's a one-hit wonder. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. But tell me what your overall goals are in the music industry. Like, where do you want to get to?
I'm coming for that top spot. Anybody who got that top spot right now, I'm calling you out. Run it.
Ding, ding, ding. Round one.
Bars. That's all.
That's the first round knockout. That's SETH Killa Bee right there.
That's all we coming with. Straight bars, straight hits, straight music, everything. We coming like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm here to take over. That's my ultimate goal. Take over and basically expand. Just bring on more people. Create more jobs, create more opportunities. There's so many talented people out there that's being overlooked. There's all the garbage that's being promoted right now, but we're about to change all that.
Right, absolutely, and hopefully we can help support that cause. And we're gonna play that track right now. Vibe with me. So you want to introduce it?
Yeah, this is my song, everybody. It's called Vibe with Me, produced by Cushion Hair, featuring my boy.
It's your boy Mike MarZz. You know what I mean?
Let's get it.
You listen to the plugs on WERA Arlington 96.7 FM. We'll be back.
I take a bad phone now.
Huh?
I just want to take a picture of it.
Just rock with me, baby. Let's hands in the air, get up high for me, baby. Hands up. Just rock with me, baby. Hands in the air, get up high for me, baby. Vibe with me, vibe with me now.
Make a lot in here?
Vibe with me now. Vibe with me now. Let's go. You already know who it is, it's ain't easy. Come vibe with your boy, baby, easy. Give you a cup of that drink and get easy. Tonight we bout to get litty. With my ladies on they hustle like easy. Put your hands in the air if you with me. She said she a bad gal like me. I said I'm a bad boy like yeah. So baby girl, what it's gonna be? I need a queen that can cruise like Penelope. Nice smile, good vibe, look at energy. Everything about you is so heavenly. Ooh, Miss Lady, I can't front your style so wavy. You should be a model for Macy's. Not just vibe, not just vibe. Vibe with me, vibe with me now. Vibe with me now. Vibe with me now. I need a sneakerhead chick that could match my fly. Bring her home, she could match my high. Chillin' with the goons, shorty like one of the guys. Now she looking at me, shorty giving me the eyes. Now I'm feeling lucky like 7 on the dice. Take her to the crib, Henny, now we getting nice. Skip the Netflix, we be vibing all night. Now I gotta take flight, your boy fly is a kite. But shorty by my side, the new Bonnie and Clyde. Just rock with me, baby. Hands in the air, get them high for me, baby. Just vibe with me, baby. Just rock with me, baby. Hands in the air, get them high for me, baby. Just rock with me, baby. Hands in the air, get them high for me, baby. Vibe with me, 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 vibe with me. Shorty just ride, shorty just ride. Get them high for me, baby. Baby girl, get high for me, baby. Shorty just ride, baby girl. Shorty just ride.
Sounds like I should like that.
Shorty just ride. She ride with me, baby. Baby girl, she just ride with me, baby. Baby girl, get live with me, baby. Ooh, get live with me, baby. Just rock with me, baby. Hands in the air, get them high for me, baby. Just rock with me, baby. Hands in the air, get them high for me, baby. Vibe with me, 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 vibe with me. Vibe with me, vibe with me, vibe with me, vibe with me.
Hello, I'm Susie Ehrenrich, the producer.
Oh, really? Don't want to hear you.
Wasn't that a time? Stories and songs that move the nation. Through the arts for social change, the show features narratives and music that highlight transformational leadership, resilience, and societal shifts as a result of mobilization efforts by ordinary citizens. Listeners are introduced to a different theme every program. Depending on the topic, an assortment of guests will be invited to discuss the selected motif, interspersed with topical ballads written by various troubadours of conscience. Wasn't that a time?
Just have like
was
a-
live
we have
every
some
Friday
listeners
from
that
1
said
to
the
2
song is
p.m.
on too
on
loud.
WERA,
Good.
Arlington, 96.7
Turn it
FM.
up.
Thanks
It
for
was
tuning
up all the way.
Maybe her shit just fucking, I don't know. But she listening.
Oh no, it was up all the way. Oh, I'm too
Oh,
late.
shit. Listening to the whole radio. This bitch nigga
Yo.
trying to get on.
You are listening to WERA-LP Arlington 96.7 FM, and this is The Plugs, and I am your favorite DJ, the humble DJ Chris, and you just listened to Vibe With Me with Aye-Nyce and Mike MarZz.
Yeah.
And I'm back. The favorite host of the show.
I don't want to
Dex.
introduce you.
That's why my back is shown towards you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ladies and gents, and we've had a great show so far. Once again, we still got in the studio undefeated pro boxer SETH Killa Bee Billups.
Still here.
Yep, Aye-Nyce still in the building.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna mix things up. We're gonna have a fun segment. All right, you guys want to do that?
Yeah.
Let's mix it up. So I'm gonna mix a little bit of boxing and music. Yeah, I know myself. But yeah, I know. Hey, you're a boxing fan, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So I want you, and also SETH, you have to be a boxing fan. It's your job,
Side.
you know.
You don't have to be.
Talk to me about the guy who's taking over the boxing world right now. That would be Vasyl Lomachenko. You've talked to me about him before in the past. I didn't know too much about him, but high tech. 2 Saturdays ago, he had dethroned Jason Sosa, and Jason Sosa's father had to call out the fight after 9 rounds. He keeps his undefeated card. I mean, this guy has 2 divisions, 2 titles in 2 different divisions, and he also has had almost 400 amateur fights and only had 1 loss at the amateur ranks. And I know we've talked about him briefly in the past, but I want you guys to tell me your thoughts about him, and specifically SETH. If you were in the ring with him, how would you game plan against him?
Lomachenko's a great fighter,
Yeah.
first of all. I mean, he got crazy footwork, stamina, speed. I mean, a guy like that, you definitely, like, Sosa was made for him. You know, he's flat-footed and then chin down, hands up, and he can only block punches. His main defense is a shell. Like, he don't really slip and weave a whole lot.
Right.
He doesn't use his feet to step back from punches. So out of all 4 components of defense, he uses one, which is blocking. And Lomachenko is 395 wins and 1 loss. So he's definitely seen that 1,000 times. You know what I mean? So that was nothing new. That's literally just a heavy bag that moves sometimes, basically. You know what I mean? So to fight somebody like Lomachenko, I mean, you got to be a fighter that can be versatile. You know what I mean? He's the kind of guy who he doesn't necessarily plan out every single attack. And one of those unplanned attacks could be a 7-punch combination that he hits you with, and then he stepped to the right and hit you 16 more times. You know what I mean? Like,
there's those side-to-side movements.
Like you can't. It's not just gonna be a step 1, step 2. Like you got to think steps ahead. You got to be able to flow. You got to have rhythm and footwork. You got to be able to spontaneously attack if an opening is there for a second. You got to be able to pull the trigger. And conversely, if he happens to throw a combination, you got to be able to react and roll. You got to feel and see. I mean, it's got to be a combination of both. You got to have instincts, skill, talent, conditioning, all of that, and trusting yourself. Because if you hesitate mentally for a second, you're done.
Yeah, no. The perfect analogy I heard about this, and I was talking about this with Eric. You know Max Kellerman, the commentator for HBO Boxing. I think he described it best. Vasile always puts himself in the swimming pool, but he never gets splashed. And what he was meaning by that was he's so offensive yet so defensive, and he's a southpaw, as we all know.
Right in front of you.
Right, and he always puts himself in positions where the opponent has a chance to hit him. They just can't do that. Like how he embarrassed Nicholas Walters, who was supposed to be that test for him. That was a hard-hitting puncher, but he just tapped out. He just quit. He just told his trainer, "Yo, I'm done." After what was it, the 7th or 8th round? And he's just like, "Yo, I just can't hit the guy. You know, I have the power. I just can't get him." And he's in position to do it. But hey, what about your night? What about your night? There's your opinion. Yeah, what are your thoughts about Lomachenko as a boxing fan?
And I screwed up earlier, right?
And do you think Seth has a chance against Loma?
Yeah, I think
the Matrix, aka.
I don't really know for sure if Lomachenko's seen a fighter of Seth's caliber though. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
I like
that's
that.
yet to be tested or to be known, or you know what I'm saying? So I think
he does have 1 loss on his professional resume. Now again, it was a second fight.
So he can be beat.
Right, but it was a second professional fight. It was a title fight. Orlando Salido, the guy who beat him, was kind of dirty. He kind of played to the judges' strengths, and nobody really know about Loma. And you know, with all that, the politics. I know Seth knows all this.
For sure.
The politics with all that, and how to, the way you fight can ultimately win or lose. Because sometimes judges, you know, that's why I talked to this with Eric and Matthew last week about the judges, how they play such a huge part, because they can make a fighter who obviously seems to have won a fight lose because of the way they score it.
It's all opinions.
Right.
Know, if you like a guy who fights like Muhammad Ali, and you're watching him fight Joe Frazier, you're going to be watching what Ali does to Joe Frazier, not what Joe Frazier does to Ali. So you're missing half the fight. And a lot of times the judges
that was nice. That was nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
So, you know, it's kind of a messed up system, but it just goes back to the fighter. You know, you just can't leave it in the judge's hands. How often do you say that, and how much harder is it to do it than to say that? But that's really what it comes down to. Even if you don't get that knockout, if you do everything you really can, then at the end of the day, you really can't say nothing. You might just have to just, you know what, man, this game is just dirty.
Do you guys agree with what the world or the boxing world is saying, that he's pound for pound the best out there right now? Pound for pound.
At the moment, he's showing it. Like, I mean, because here's the thing. Like, Boxing World had Chocolatito #1 pound for pound, which didn't make sense. Like, he's not better than Andre Ward. He's a great fighter, but it's just none of that. There's no argument you can truly, really make. You know what I mean? So, I would say Lomachenko is more up there in that discussion. And Chocolatito got robbed his last fight, too, I thought. Anyway. I mean, he's the man, too. I like Chocolatito a lot. But I mean, Andre Ward is up there. You know,
we're going to see that rematch between him and Sergey Kovalev.
And I respect the man for doing that, you know what I mean? And we're really going to see. Somebody like Floyd, you know, he had a questionable win with Castillo. In that rematch, you couldn't say nothing.
Right.
Like 8 rounds, you know, so we'll see if Ward can do that. But I think that Ward has that star power in him, you know what I mean?
Right.
But that's off the top. But yeah, I think Lomachenko could probably be #1 pound for pound. We got some good up and coming guys too. I mean, off topic, but I like Earl Spence coming up. Earl Spence Jr. I like him a lot. He's got some real good talent. Who's he fighting coming up? Yeah, I can't even think. Now, Brook, right? Kell Brook. Yeah, he got a fight with Kell Brook, who just got stopped by Canelo, but you know he's a lot smaller. And he fought a good fight against Canelo, but I'm looking for Earl Spence Jr. I like him and Lomachenko. You know what I mean? But as far as pound for pound, to answer your question, Lomachenko. Yeah, I'll give you that for sure.
Took me a long way to get there. We got there. We got there.
Yeah, be going.
I just like, for me, like when I look at him, he's like, I've been a boxing fan. I've watched some of the greats, and I always say Robinson is the greatest I've ever seen.
Sharon Robinson?
Yeah.
Oh,
no, yeah.
Oh,
Can I ask you, like, do you see any flaws in Lomachenko?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
The flaw is exactly what I mentioned, but no opponent's been able to hit him.
Okay.
He puts himself in a position where he could get hit. But I think
Maybe he does that on purpose.
Well,
yeah, that's what I'm
it
saying,
is. It's
because
like his flaws are his
strengths.
You know, Ward Jones Jr. putting his
That's
hands
why I look
behind
at him
his
as
back in
unique.
boxing. Like that's a flaw.
Right.
You're not supposed to do that. Like, he can get away with it.
Right, that's what I'm
You know what I'm
saying.
saying?
And
Like,
you know the story behind Lomachenko, right? The story behind Loma was that
Was
his
it
dad
dancing?
put him into dancing at the
from
age of 9
to 13.
to 13, and then he's like,
Yeah.
okay, now you're ready to box.
And
So
they
now
got
I'm
his feet work. You be like,
so
what
his
his white
footwork
boy
is
get feet
everything.
like that, yo? Like, they put
That's
him
why
in
when I
you
watch
training
him,
dancing.
I say, yo, this is why I say he's
But
got
you know
potential,
what I'm
because
saying?
his
I was in the
footwork
city. I used
is.
to dance back in the day. I don't dance at all no more unless you see me in the ring. You see, like, stuff, but then I don't got no.
What kind of dance are we talking about back in the day?
Battling and do all this stuff. You know what I mean? I was back when the Real Hall.
He's doing the hopscotch.
You know what I'm
He
saying?
probably doing the hopscotch. He would draw chalk in the middle of his driveway or sidewalk. He brought that into the ring, and you know, it got him 8 wins in the professional ranks. You know, that's how he got it.
I had good footwork. They told us the hill so bad.
No, he has
You know,
fantastic
that
footwork.
stuff.
I don't mean to get on my man. I just like to get on my man Seth, man. That's what we do on the plug. Man, you gotta bring it on the plugs, man. You gotta bring it. You know, you think we're not gonna come on here with any ammo.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
man
be
been
ready,
coming
man.
at me since I got here. It's all about 8-1.
Hey, well, still positivity. All right, hey, let's go to you. Aye-Nyce. Question about like what's in the news and what's buzzing today on social media. Now we know Kendrick dropped a new album. Now there's this guy. Yeah, it is. It is really good, and you know I love Kendrick, and he might be one of the best rappers in the game today. But there was this guy named Peter Rosenberg. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. Yeah, from Hot 97. He came out and said that he's already the best rapper in the game. He was talking about like he's already eclipsed a guy like Eminem, who is a legend. What were your thoughts about that? And so you too, you can answer this one too, Seth. But I don't know. I don't think
Kendrick is arguably the best out at the moment. You know what I mean? He definitely on his way. But
no, but he was talking about like all.
I feel you. That's what I'm saying. I don't agree. It's too soon to say something like that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Have you listened to his new album?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay.
My girl got the joint on the phone. She bought the joint, so we were listening. I was listening to it yesterday.
Okay.
Actually, the whole way through. It's definitely got. He's a man of concepts. You know what I mean? He don't make a song for no reason. I like Kendrick. It's different, and it's definitely not catered to the mainstream.
No,
so
it's not. That's why a lot of people veer away from him.
Word. So
away from
you're gonna
him.
see him as an artist right there. You know what I mean? He's exploring different things. He's trying different stuff. And
I'm
it's
still
not
waiting
all-
on that Cole Kendrick album. I'm
That
still
would be
waiting
tough.
on that.
That would be
Yeah,
tough.
that's gonna be
What
fire.
do you think
man.
would sell more, Cole and Kendrick or Fab and Jada?
That's tough though, cause that's.
See,
I don't even want to compare that. You know what
Well,
I mean?
I just think.
It
With,
depends
with
on
the
what you-
millennials of today, but here's the thing: like we don't like the millennials of today. They've dominated the world. You know what I mean? With the social media influence, not many people are as big or know Jada and Fab, like people of like my age group, like in their early to mid 20s, as opposed to guys like Kendrick and
People
Cole.
definitely gonna jump on that.
Because Cole was supposed to be the second coming tonight.
And they both really are genuinely
Right.
good.
And I respected
You know,
Cole
sure.
for him saying after when you guys know the story about how
All that.
J. Cole was his first album was supposed to be the warm up, but Jay-Z was like, no, we need a radio hit. You don't have a radio hit, then I can't release an album. Then he came out with Workout. Then he started making all these mainstream tracks. He's like, you know what, this is not me. So he went back into the shadows and the darkness, and he came back, and he came out with the Forest Hills album, which I really love. Born Sinner was freaking amazing. I still listen to it to this day. So like that's me. My personal thing is the old school. But what are your thoughts? I want to ask you a specific question about this and today. We know that this new music genre that people have come up with, trap genre, You know the rappers I'm talking about.
I was about to say you gotta put. It's like you gotta put a space between every word. That's how it is.
It's changed a lot.
Pharmaceutical drugs in order.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And now it's like music is the future song. Yeah, mask off. Yeah, mask off.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's all good. It's all good. Seth Billups already took an L earlier in the show, so it's okay. I'll let him express himself a little bit. But we know how it's taken over the industry. And I'm all for hype music and music that gets you going, music that helps you dance. But we've seen all cultures gravitate to it. Whereas, like, the other day, I was taking my cousin, who was in high school, and her friends were listening to what's his name? Kodak Black.
Oh man.
And I'm like, are y'all serious? I'm playing like she played some Kodak Black. I'm like, yo.
Somebody said that's
and then we've seen the transition of music.
Hold on. Best rapper
right.
I'm coming for you, bro.
And who was
Don't worry, the road's ahead of you is easy if he's the best rapper alive.
you know the guy that came up with Panda?
Oh, Designer?
Yeah, Designer. You know also Designer went triple platinum with Panda. On the track Panda. He went triple platinum. Okay. So you see the difference between the music industry. Yeah,
when I heard Panda, I thought they were talking about Panda Express in the beginning.
And he went triple platinum.
Yeah, I was like, why are they rapping about Panda Express? I'm like, is it that good? Like,
hey man, don't. You know you were playing that track all day. Every day.
Oh no, I was after I found out.
Snapchatting it everywhere,
no, okay.
like the world.
No. I was Snapchatting it because they had the filter of the Panda. Okay. They had the filter of the Panda, and that's when I was Snapchatting it.
You tell me you're not gonna watch that on the regular next to your fire pit outside, right? Never mind. I'm not gonna go into it. But yeah, talk to me about how your music has changed. Obviously, I look at it like this. There's only so many beats. There's only so many different lyrics and different producers and features you can get on. But what have you seen about the transition of music falling into that trap, quote unquote, genre, and it not songs nowadays that are really popular and getting #1 hits and are getting triple platinums for a song about pandas, get like that, have no meaning behind them. What are your thoughts about that and how music has changed?
What's the question exactly?
Well, it's just about how music has changed and your thoughts about like how the genre has changed. It's like, okay, we're not looking at like old school rap. Like we don't see any more Biggies or Tupacs or Nas's or guys like that whose raps had meaning behind it. Maybe exclude a guy like J. Cole and Kendrick, but the mainstream rappers out there.
I mean,
or you think it's just been evolution?
Nah, I think it has to more so to do with like the labels and the people that run the labels.
I was thinking
power,
and the demand,
higher ups.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're the ones that are the reason why hip hop is less conscious. Is that right? Watered down.
That's a
good word.
That's a good one. Very good. Very
But because of like the change in the music, like I've always been into rap my entire life, but with this whole trap music thing, I started looking like more deeper, and I found people like I don't know if you heard of him, like Vay or Black, like he spelled it with a 6 instead of a B, and a guy named Khaled and stuff like that. They're rapping like back in the old school days, you know what I mean? And the group they were actually in DC not too long ago. They had sold out crowds and everything like that. So I feel like, at least to me, like these guys that never got the credit, that had the music, you know what I mean, who people don't hear of, are gonna come up soon, because people, you hear it a lot from a lot of people. They can't stand the trap music anymore. People who listen to trap are in high school.
That's why.
I mean, it's the high schoolers who like the trap music.
Yeah, that's why Tribe came back with an album. That's why a lot of the OGs are coming back, because I mean everything is like a recycle. It comes back around. You know what I'm saying? So everything has its time. So sooner or later, this trap thing will soon slowly fit. Maybe it might not. Maybe it might stick around forever.
I think it will become a whole nother entire different type of genre. You know what I mean? Like in the beginning, we had like rap and R&B kind of were like R&B kind of drifted kind of out
That's
of
why I
rap.
think Drake took it to
And
the
then
new level.
R&B
Because I think Drake took it to the new level with mixing singing and rapping at the same time.
Artist.
As an artist, yeah.
So that's the thing. So I
Right.
think it's just gonna be a whole nother type of
Right.
genre. But like, I'm not a rapper. I'm a
Awesome.
trapper. I don't know whatever you would call it.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we're running out of time. But I want to thank Seth and Aye-Nyce again, and also Mike for being on the show with us today. You guys want to throw out your social media handles before we get on? Any final words?
Sure, I'll go first. Yeah, follow me on Instagram, Killa Bee. That's KILLA BEE P4P. Pound for pound. Killa Bee P4P. Otherwise, May 13th, Norfolk Masonic Temple. I'm going for my 9th win, preferably by KO. That's what I'm going for. Yeah, we're gonna get it in. What's up?
Well, you're
man?
6 out of 8, so
Man,
6 out of 8 by knockout. No,
I
that's
ain't take
good.
your L today.
No, I meant by knockout. That's what. Go on. Go ahead, Aye-Nyce. Finish this up.
You can follow me Twitter, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm Aye-Nyce, IAMAYENYCE. Vibe with me is the movement. You know what I'm saying? We got the shirts. Holla at us about the shirts, DM us. Or you can hit my email at ayenyce@gmail.com, or you can DM Mike MarZz.
Yo, it's your boy Mike MarZz. You can find me on Facebook at Mike MarZz. You can find me on IG. You know what I mean? Mike MarZz spelled MarZz MarZZ. You know what I mean?
All right, ladies and gents. Well, that was great. I want to thank everyone again for tuning in to us. We'll be back next Monday. I want to thank our guests in for today for another great show. And I want to wish Seth best of luck in his next fight. Remember, Saturday, May 13th, Masonic Temple versus Roy Garcia. Going for that 9th professional win, baby. You know we already in there. And then Aye-Nyce, always pleasure having you on for the first time. And good luck in the music industry. And
looking forward to coming back.
Absolutely.
For sure.
All success for you. Listen to the plugs on WERA Arlington 96.7 FM. Humble DJ Chris.
We out.
That's pretty dope, right?
Yeah, we should make our own podcast.
We recorded.
Imagine.
No, we recorded.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
we all
Oh,
have our
yeah,
own
yeah,
podcast.
Oh my God.
Oh, we just talking shit all day.
What? First of all, y'all two by yourselves.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Yeah, get shit done.
That'll be the
So
part.
right off topic, just talking shit back and forth.
I just wanted to like get good vibes.
Thank you. For sure, man.
Appreciate it, man.
And my bad for actually saying that good vibe. I literally just listened to that song.
See what I'm saying?
Right? I literally was just
Liability.
listening to that song right before I got in here.
Liability.
The good vibes.
That's why the podcast would be perfect, because it's so